Welcome to the Baroque Bat. I'm Queenie Black. And I hope you had a good week. Welcome back. Um, I'm in the Purple Parlor again because, to be honest, I'm recording this week's video the same time I'm recording the other video because things were going to get hectic. So, and also I was like, what am I going to talk about? And I know what I'm going to talk about this week because it's another online thing. I'll talk about two things, I think. Let's talk about drama. I hate drama. Drama is ruining our online experience we used to have. We used to have the most fun. Um, it used to be really cool to watch people share their lives and experiences, and now all we're seeing is division of subcultures, um, division of people in general, race division, hatred. And if you don't understand that this is all being devised on purpose, so we're not, so we become miserable and not united anymore. Even the subcultures are not united. Everything's turning very cultish, and that is scary to watch. I mean, obviously, because it, I've lived in the whole goth thing for over 40 years. That is changing so much. The online experience, as well as offline. Um, so I can remember when we first started connecting back in the 90s online through message boards and stuff. We shared our music tape. We all, people would make like AOL chat rooms, or before that, it was, oh God, there was something else. I can't remember what it was. But, and then we would chat on IRC. We would make rooms, goth music and gothic fashion. And I was actually in a plus goths because I was larger back then, and that's how I found a lot of my friends that I still am friends with now. And we shared fashion tips and where we can come up with goth clothes that were plus size because they didn't sell them. Not until later in the 2000s when Torrid became a thing and Hot Topic, but there wasn't any. That's why we were making our clothes, for one thing. Like I was so large, I would buy two dresses and sew them together. So that's where I learned how to customize things for myself and my body. So anyway, we had these communities, like, where we were sharing our actual lives, but we had this one thing in common. We were goth, but we had lives. You know, everybody went out, but then, during the day, we had jobs, we were starting our families, we were starting to have kids. I mean, every once in a while there was beef online, but it was silly, or it wasn't a big deal. And the click thing, there's always going to be groups that tend to be more popular, but it's not because they hate everybody else. I don't know. I don't know how to explain clicks, but I was never in a clique. I had a lot of friends around me, but I was never in a clique. So anyway, we had these really cool experiences as a goth community. And we would do, there was goth convergence where we would meet in different cities and have little gothic convention. And it wasn't huge, but it wasn't small either. But it wasn't huge, if you know what I mean. You know, the online community seems to be a lot bigger right now, but only online. I don't know. But I mean, but I do see that more clubs are popping up and stuff like that, which is awesome for young people because that's a really awesome experience. It's not something I experienced as a young person because I was in a very strict household, so I couldn't do that. Only when I snuck away and told my mom I was going to the movies, then I got drunk and went and did that kind of stuff. But it wasn't very often. It wasn't until I became got on my own that I could do stuff like that and and be able to get more out there in the gothic subculture through these kind of events and clubs and stuff. But I mean, I've never been a I I love how there's people that are dedicated to a club once a week. They'll go once a week, but it's not something that I personally can do, and I never have wanted to. I'll just go every once in a while. Now I don't even know if I can do it. I always say I'm gonna do it. Oh, there's a goth night coming, and then I'll get a freaking migraine, or I gotta work. So it's like So that's another thing. If like people say you're not an actual goth if you're not going to the clubs, well, I wouldn't say that. That's kind of that's kind of weird. But I mean, the club scene is that it is really fun and dancing and stuff like that. But that's being kind of super elitist to say that you can't be a part of it if you don't go to clubs all the time or whatever. I mean, okay, so if that's the case, then count me out. If all these rules that are now going on, I wouldn't be. Okay, bye. See ya. I'm just gonna go cha cha out of the scene then. But so anyway, what I was saying about the what was I saying? Oh yeah, we created these spaces, but we shared our lives and ideas. Like check out this DIY. I was always DIYing, or I think I was the very first person to do a makeup tutorial. It was an HTML, how to do your eyebrows. And my friends will back me up on this. We're talking like 1998, 1999 or something. I did pictures. What, how to do banging eyebrows or something like that. Because nobody was doing the eyebrows like this. I mean, they were, but no, tutorials weren't a thing. So anyway, I think that's kind of funny. And now it's just everywhere. But so we would do things like that, like, oh look, guys, I made this dress, and they'd be like, that's really cool. How did you do it? Or, I spray painted this for the room, and how did you do it? So we were sharing our DIYs and stuff like that, and we were a community of goths bonded with the music, sharing our ideas. Yes, there was drama, but there's always drama, period, in life. People break up and then they have dramas, or somebody gets, bent out of shape because something, or they don't agree with your music tastes, or something like that, and then there's drama. But it was never blown up like it is now. I have seen, I have witnessed the goth community online, especially more so online because of the new generation coming in. But I've seen a weird shift and I don't like it. And so I'm like, literally, am I goth anymore? Am I goth? Maybe I'm not. Oh, the hell I am. Anyway, if I if you catch my drift, because like I'm watching the reels, like I'm trying to find my friends for one thing on Instagram or Facebook, and then all you see are suggested reels for you. But a, a younger goth will pop up with just their face, and it'll say, if you're not a real goth, if you don't listen to, you need to listen to these bands and these bands and these bands. And there's like 600 bands. Some of them I don't know. Hey, I'm sticking to the oldies and a few new ones creeping in. I don't got time for that. I watch the same shows over and over. I listen to the same songs over and over because there's too much going on. The older you get, try going through menopause and giving a crap about, oh, I'm going to get canceled if I don't listen to some new music. You know what I mean? I mean, it's awesome that there's new bands and stuff, and I appreciate that that's happening. But I personally, I mean, I try, but I just don't have it on my roster to be able to seek it out, you know? But like sometimes I'll put on like a, what are those, like the DJ mixes or whatever, and then I'll hear and I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. That's a cool new band. You know, that's how I've discovered some, and then I, you know, but I can't sit there. I can't seek them out anymore, you know. So, I mean, if anybody has like a Spotify list or something with some of the newer bands, put it in the comments because I would love to I would love to hear some new stuff, but I'm not going to guarantee you that it'll be my regular daily thing because but that's a thing with me too. Like I have to have a set, my brain works a certain way to where new things sometimes makes it go you know what I mean? So be gentle with me. Anyway, so what I was back to what I was saying, you know, there'll be somebody and they'll just be posting rules, rules of, I mean, and I'm like, do do people that are in other subcultures do this? Do cowboys make reels? You're not a real cowboy if you don't have these kind of boots. You're not a real cowboy if you're not riding a tan 65,000 horsepower horse with silver spurs. You're not a real cowboy if you don't say yeehaw. You're not allowed to say yeehaw. You weren't born in Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Oh my God. So I'm like, but I think it's because you know, newer people desperately want to be into something so edgy. But so yeah, the drama. It's just that what I've seen, the change that I've seen is just really sad, and it's been within the last 5 years. I think during COVID, you know, I mean, I was totally part of the, you know, let's do dancing videos and let's do, but when I was doing them, I was like sharing music that people were not posting online yet. of older bands and stuff. So I don't know. But I'm not making excuses. But I was a part of that too. But I think we are just all going through the stupidest crap ever, being locked down, that we're just like, can we just have some fun? Let's pretend like we're having fun through this. But it shifted from us having a good old time online to, if you don't do what I say, you're not going to be. I don't know. I think this kind of bleeds into what I said a couple weeks ago. But yeah, the shift that I'm seeing is very strange. There's also a shift when I saw the horror community coming more into the goth scene, because, and I'm talking about like gory, bloody horror community. Like, I don't know. That's not something I've ever been into. For me, it was the classic monsters, and then it turned into, then we're watching, now classic monsters are like It and Jason and stuff, and that blows my mind. But, because, so, like, I guess I just gotta, hey, I'm old, so I just gotta roll with the changes. But can we get back to being a fun, creative community again? But there's always got to be one person that ruins it for a community. You know what I mean? So if there's somebody out there saying you have to be white to be goth, that is the silliest thing I have ever heard in my life. And it's never been a thing, you know? But I have to say that when we were younger, the way the music industry was divided, they purposely divided us. You know, every community had their genre of music, and they did that on purpose. They had channels that were, like rap channels, and then they had heavy metal channels, and then they had, alternative channels. I mean, the goths and stuff had to find their own stuff, but, and so they did that to us on purpose to divide us. But what's cool now is there's okay, there's no division, but there is division because somewhere somebody's trying to make division within our communities. And we're just like, anybody can like any genre that they want to like. You know what I mean? I like everything: blues, rap, some heavy metal. I don't like a lot of heavy metal, but some heavy metal, opera, jazz. Not too much jazz because it's like hurts my brain. But alternative, is the core of what I like. But what I'm saying is now, because of the internet, there and the wild west of the internet, there's no record companies saying, okay, now this kind of person has to listen to this music, this kind of person has to listen to that music, and you guys cannot, you know or western, like western people, and so now we're seeing music being melded. We're seeing, heavy metal western and stuff like that, and it's really kind of cool. Like, I like it because I like all kinds of music, but we're also seeing other cultures you know coming into the goth scene more than ever. And I love that because there's no rules to a scene, to a subculture. If you like it, you're in it. If you like the music, you're in it. It's like, but I can imagine, if I'm dressed like this and I go see, well, I actually did I went and saw Dolly Parton. I was dressed all in black, and me and my friends were the only ones, but I don't care because I love Dolly. But, but the mindset of people, well, the, you're not allowed to cross the streams, and that's baloney. So there's no way that we're not accepting people from other cultures, other races into the goth community. I'm speaking because I'm in the goth community. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be denying people to such a freaking cool subculture. And I would hope that other subcultures wouldn't let me be a part of it, you know. Anyway, we should just all appreciate each other's differences and meld them together to make something really cool. So instead of going about, so what I'm saying is like, instead of like, am I still recording? I hope so. Because if I'm not recording, I am busted. Instead of like going around just policing everybody and making the rules, just share your life. No matter what kind of a person you are, just share it, and people will be like, wow, that's really cool. Like, and there, oh my God, there are bad eggs everywhere. Everywhere. You just gotta ignore them. Because even if it seems like there's groups of people, it's always just one person, one or two people, and they just are just scrub, blah, 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 blah. You can't do that because you're a blah, 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 blah. You're not allowed to blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them, because the rest of us don't feel that way. The rest of us in the subculture do not feel that way. Maybe this one person does, but we don't feel that way. So, what I'm saying is bring back bring back celebrating our subculture by sharing your photos and your experiences as a goth, going out in life as a goth. If this is what you're comfortable with and you just go live it, this is what you're doing, right? Am I still running? I am still running. 23 minutes. So, this is a week of me babbling about stuff, but I'm babbling because I don't know. I don't know how to get through to the younger people that it's time to stop just posting about the rules and just go live. If you, this is the other thing too. I know that a lot, I know that a lot of kids that are the misfits, that are misunderstood, come to this subculture. And sometimes, like I was in a very strict household. My mom didn't let me do anything. Got grounded a lot. I wasn't allowed to go out of the house. I developed agoraphobia, and so I didn't go out of the house for a very long time, if you know my story. If you don't, I mean, we're talking anxiety attacks every day, agoraphobia. I didn't go out clubbing because of it. I wasn't confident at all to go out, and I was terrified. I didn't feel like I was cool enough to go to a club. Let me tell you, every single person that there is there does not feel like they're cool. They may look cool. It's called imposter syndrome. And if they think they're the coolest in the school, then they're the ones that you got to get away from. Let's not be friends with them. They're the problem. So, yeah, I mean, this thing like you're not part of the subculture if you're not going out to clubs. I would say that's baloney because everybody has a different struggle. I'm proof of it. But I did end up, like I said, I did end up going to clubs later when I was older. And it ends up to not be, now that I'm almost 60, it's not my scene. But it is a lot of my friends, they like to do it, and which is, I love it for them. But my thing is, I love the mountains, or I just like to sit at home and do my art now. But I'm still listening to the music. And like I said, I try to listen to new stuff, but this brain wants to put things on repeat. But that is part of mental illness, mental struggles. But so what? Because we have mental struggles, we're not part of the subculture. That's baloney too, because we're all mental. That's what makes a creative person. Sorry to inform you. This is actually, so I don't know. I hope you understand what I'm saying, that we do miss, we talk about, us older goths talk about in the olden days, on the goth side of the internet, used to be fun. Now it's a big competition. When I share my stuff, I'm not doing it, I'm not showing off. I'm not, it's not showing off, but it's, I have so much creativity in me. I just want to churn it out, and I want to inspire somebody to be creative in some kind of way. So, yeah. And I've been sitting here with my leg crossed and it's hurting because I'm old. So, anyway, I hope that you're having a good week. Oh, there's a kitty out there. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Hi, BB. What are you doing back there? Uh oh. I guess these are like blabberings of an elder goth. I super admire the DJs that have been around for 30 years, still pumping it out every week. Pumping it out? Ooh. Every week, running their clubs. And the clubs were popular, and then we had a lull where there was, but we still have the DJs that have been doing it. I love them. A lot of super cool people in the scene that have just kept it going, you know, and they need their props. But here's to the DJs. And I would love to go back out, but honestly, I've been having a hard time wanting to do this all the time. And I don't want to go to the club looking like, you know, if I'm going to go out, I want to look fabulous, but I just haven't felt like being fabulous all the time. But maybe that comes with age sometimes, and lots of responsibilities and things. The outfit of the day, the outfit of the week, because I'm not looking like this every day. I look like a swamp witch most of the time because I'm covered in paint and glue and up to my eyeballs in packing orders and stuff. So it's what, once a week now that I put on makeup? Woo! So, anyway, let's see. You know, my outfits are kind of like the same as I do my house. Layers upon layers, creating texture and like a depth visually. That was deep. Okay. Makes sense though, right? I make most of my clothes or alter them. So when I have on lots of layers like this, these are like this bottom layer. This one I made just out of lace. It's just a thin lace skirt underneath this, which is comes from another dress that I cut out of. So I can turn that into a layer. And then this top piece is this is a dress that I made. And so it's like it's a very short dress, so I just add layers to lengthen it. And then I have like a belt on, a lace type of a belt. And then I love lingerie, black robes of all kind. And I just have it tied in the back here so it cinches my waist, flowy. It's black, like burnout flowers on it. I guess I'm like a crow. And then the shoes, these boots. Oh my god. I just found these boots on eBay 3 weeks ago while I was in Montana at 3 o'clock in the morning. These ones were 40, I think, but they're a modern Victorian slip on, so there's no zipper. We don't do zippers in this house. I don't. But I just love the way it's got the which they're like knot things all the way up. They're just so cute and they're very comfortable. Like I've been doing this. See, very comfortable. So I'm super happy because I usually can't wear heels at all because my ankles are very weak. But these I did that in front of the Moulin Rouge, the real one. That was on my bucket list. Okay, boots of the week. Look at how cute these are. I got them off of eBay. Bring back the fun. And I'm sorry to say, but if I see newer accounts and all they do is police people, I don't follow them. I don't want to see it. You know what? If you like to post videos of you dancing, show the dance and talk about the song that you're dancing to. That's how we're keeping the subculture and the community up. So have a good week. Thank you for joining me for this. I didn't really know what I was going to talk about this week, but I just desperately want to see a change again. Otherwise we're going to drive younger kids away from it that desperately want to be a part of it because they don't think they're good enough or they're not doing things right. you know, which in my case that would have been me if I listened if I was around today and I listened to the people saying these rules, I would not be in the scene. I would not be goth. Maybe I'm not anymore. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I never was. Then if I'm not abiding by every freaking rule, that I'm going to tell you, most people don't. Out in the real world, most people don't. Come here. Come sit with mama. Come here. Come sit with mama. Come here. Did you eat your food? I hope you have a good week. Remember to watch Portraits Without Looking on Friday. Give me some suggestions. And next week, I'll have something. I'm going on an adventure. So I'll be excited to show you that. And I'm excited to show you my adventure for next week. And I'm hoping to actually go on more adventures. I just got to get myself going. I'm like one of those crank trucks. Hi, kitty, kitty. Hey, mama, kitty. What are you doing? Do you come eat your food? You're pretty. Another stray. Yeah, we got another stray. You want to come in the house? Come here. All right, I gotta stop talking to him. Bye. I can't hear him in my mouth. Bye.